Hello everybody and welcome to our show Pick and Pop,
where we pick the latest and best basketball content and we pop it onto your screens. My name is Tich, the assistant Mabiza, and this lovely lady next to me is Natalie Pike.
Please remember to like, share, subscribe, retweet and follow us on all our pages at Pick and Pop TV. Now today we'll be discussing all the latest news that has happened in the NBA, and to top it all off, we're going to start with LeBron James and his amazing performance to pass Wilt Chamberlain in the all-time scoring list. Now, I've always been a Kobe kind of girl, so to see LeBron do this, I felt a little bit threatened, but I know you're a LeBron guy, so how did you feel?
Well, Nat, LeBron James has done a lot of great things in his career, but to see him do it in a game that he dominated the Portland Trail Blazers the way he did, that was pretty special for me. We know the Lakers have gone off to a very rough start to start the season, but LeBron James had a game for the ages. He was shooting very well from beyond the arc. He scored 44 points and it seemed so effortless. He was taking over games in a way we haven't seen him do in a long time. And that's the LeBron James we all have grown to know and love.
So for me, I had a thought that come into my mind. I thought, okay, if I'm LeBron, I want this to happen in my hometown with my peeps, but this is happening in LA, new city, new team. Do you think that has an impact on anything at all?
I don't think that impacts anything. I mean, home is where the heart is. And we know LeBron James has got 2 homes in LA. His family's in LA. His kids are in school in LA. Mm-hmm. He looks happy to be playing for the Lakers. And we all knew coming into this season, we're not expecting a championship from the Lakers this season. But for LeBron James to go out there and play a game as brilliantly as he did and pass Wilt Chamberlain, and he's got MJ in his sights. He's only 800 and something points away from Michael Jordan.
That's really bold.
It's going to be special. When LeBron James passes MJ, NBA Twitter is going to break down. It's going to be special.
Please remember to give us your thoughts on our Twitter page regarding this LeBron James topic. Now, you also mentioned that, this definitely impacts his legacy. Tell me how.
Well, LeBron's legacy has now just become about breaking records because he is probably the most well-conditioned athlete that we've known in the modern era. So LeBron James is breaking scoring records, but he's not a scorer. LeBron James will break rebounding records, but he's not a big man. He's going to break assisting records, and he's not a point guard. That gives you the most complete player ever. And that definitely adds to his legacy. I mean, how can you hate?
I really can't hate. I mean, I love Kobe, always love Kobe, but LeBron James is showing us something special that, he's a once in an era type of guy. Mm-hmm. And that performance, and to do that at this time in his career, to pass Wilt, because we all know, he's right up there with the greats, and it's something we need to keep our eye on. Like I said, give us your thoughts on our Twitter page, Facebook page, Instagram page, and our YouTube channel.
Moving on from LeBron James, not all that glitters is gold, and there is drama in the dynasty. We know there's been trouble in Golden State. Kevin Durant and Draymond Green were seen beefing on national TV. What were your thoughts on that, Natalie?
For me, the Warriors kind of annoy me. I'm not even going to lie.
The Warriors annoy everybody.
I'm not even going to lie. They just seem so perfect. So for this to happen, I was excited. I was like, whoa, okay,
anything to break it up, right?
Yes.
Anything to break it up.
Yes. So my biggest worry is that, one, like you mentioned, it's happening on national TV. Mm-hmm. 2, the content of that beef was real.
Yeah, so it's been said that Draymond used the B word. He called Durant, the B word. And he assured Durant that you certainly know that you are the B word. And then he told Durant that, you know what, man, we were winning before you. Leave.
Yeah.
So my thing is this. You've played basketball for a very long time. Teammates fight all the time. But this is very difficult to come back from, because not only did he call him the B word, he mentioned his money. He starts talking about free agency.
And you can't mess with the man's money.
You can't mess with the man's money.
So for me also, the thing was, okay, as we watched the video, it's a few seconds left in the game.
Yep.
Draymond Green is taking the ball out.
Okay.
That's something natural. Yes. We see it in a lot of Warriors games. Whoever gets the rebound pushes the ball. And then we see Durant following, crying out for the ball because he wants to take the last shot. Mm-hmm. And then, he doesn't get the ball and everything just goes haywire. My problem is, why did Draymond then have to start talking about his free agency? This is the last possession in the game. So why are you talking about my money?
Everybody knew that Draymond had messed up. Draymond knew that Draymond had messed up. So he was frustrated. And this is natural for the Warriors. Durant wanted the ball at the side, and Durant is probably the greatest pure scorer we've ever seen. But the way the Warriors play, and they lead the league in pushing pace immediately after getting a defensive rebound. That's how they do it. Draymond gets the ball, he pushes the pace, and they make reads off that. So Draymond was pushing the pace, and unfortunately, you turned the ball over.
But okay.
He was probably more frustrated with himself than everybody else was. And so that is why when people then came to me and said, no, you messed up, and Durant says, pass me the damn ball, which was exactly what pass me the damn ball, Draymond got defensive. And Draymond, like you said, is a troll. And when a troll gets defensive, what happens? You know,
they start trolling some more.
They start trolling some more.
So I get that. I fully understand that. Mm-hmm. But it's like you and I perhaps talking about Draymond, and I just bring in, okay, but why are you sitting on this chair? It's so random. It really is random. I feel like there's some underlying issues going on there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, David West mentioned, when he announced his retirement, when people were like, you were lucky to be part of such a franchise, he mentioned that, you know what, man, there's always things in the background, things that are squashed. And I feel like having Steph Curry as your best player, Steph Curry has got a Tim Duncan kind of vibe. He's got that whole kumbaya, bring everybody together, it's our team thing going on.
Is it Steph Curry, or is it just the way the team is built?
No. The team follows the leader. Steph Curry is the team's best player. Steph Curry is the team's best player.
Great, but we've always had questions about who the leader is on that team.
Well, he is the best player, so he will lead by the way he plays. Draymond is the emotional leader. We don't deny that.
Point.
Yes.
Exactly. Draymond is the emotional leader. And he took his emotions out of the bag and became really inappropriate. This is your teammate.
Yeah, no,
you're calling him out on national TV. If I'm KD, okay, let me put this to you. If you're KD, are you leaving?
I think KD was leaving either way. That's what I think. Okay. Now, this just definitely seals the deal. Mm-hmm. And this will have people speculating, did KD leave because of Draymond? Mm-hmm. It's going to be very tricky and very, very funny to see how the Warriors react to this, because they seem to take KD's side. They suspended Draymond. He lost $120,000, suspended without pay for this incident, obviously because it crossed the line. But do you think that's the Warriors saying to KD, listen, man, we got your back, and saying to Draymond, we don't have your back?
I don't know about that, because I could be wrong, but didn't Steve Kerr just a few weeks ago say something about not needing KD, or the team will still be the same after KD?
I think that's just humor. They do that. The Warriors do that. They did that at the championship parade.
My guy.
They did that at the championship parade.
My guy.
They say
that's
KD,
not just humor. This is money. This is championships on the line. This is careers on the line. They don't do that.
What's interesting to note, though, this is not the first time that these guys have had such an incident. There was a game last year in February where they had a similar incident. It was the end of the game. Steph Curry had scored a whole bunch of points. I think he was on 39 points. And Draymond Green wanted Steph Curry and Kevin Durant to run the 1-3 pick and roll. It's virtually unguardable. That the 1-3 pick and roll is unguardable. Whoever is handling, whether it's Steph Curry or whether it's KD, it's unguardable. And that would have sealed the deal. They would have won the game very easily. KD gets the ball. He gets it from Steph Curry. Steph Curry is visibly frustrated. He's sulking. Draymond sees it. He's sulking. KD tries to go 1-on-5. He misses the jumper.
I remember
They go
that.
back. They lose the game in overtime.
I remember
Draymond tore him up.
I remember that.
So do they have an underlying beef? Do you think this is something that has been going on for a while?
I really do think so. And I think the whole KD moving to the Warriors did present a lot of underlying issues, because already Steph looked unsure at the beginning. Is this still my team? Is it not my team? And the thing about it is, there's a lot of guys on that team that dominate. There's a lot of guys on that team that have really strong personalities as well. But what's funny, since you mentioned Curry sulking, Draymond sulking, Klay Thompson was also sulking after their possession, Draymond.
Yeah, well, that's just emotion in the moment. Klay Thompson doesn't sulk. Klay Thompson is just a godsend. That's emotion in the moment.
Oh, he's godsend. I trust you to say that.
But what I want to find out from you, is this what breaks the Warriors dynasty? I know, we both know it doesn't affect them winning. They're just too loaded. They're a very good team. They're going to have a great business relationship on the court. They will learn to play basketball together again. But I don't think they can be friends the same way again.
And thing is, friendship is important in teams. We can't lie about it. It means chemistry.
Does this affect their chemistry?
I think it does affect their chemistry. But you must remember, this is a job.
Yeah.
This is my money. I'll do what I got to do to get my money.
Yeah.
But that's enough on the Warriors. We can go on and on and on. We would love for you to hear your thoughts as well. Like I said, get on our pages.
Who have yet to lose since the trade, Minnesota. Kemba, what a move! Finishes with the southpaw. You can hear the crowd play for that. It's just a two-man game, and B just stands there and tries to get in the way of the defender. Kemba scores and draws the foul. Early And Jimmy Butler got beat going left early in this quarter. Kemba fakes left, gives an in and out crossover. Not a big dribble, shot off the dribble. He's a catch and shoot guy. He's worked on that part of his game.
Cody, friendly roll. So Cody Zeller, Kemba Walker have all 11 points for the Hornets. Points for Philadelphia. Butler missed everything. Kemba took it away from Johnson. Corner three. Jeremy Lamb spins it through.
That's what they did, right? They build around that, and that was the most important thing.
Kemba finds Cody, another two, and your Hornets making a nice little comeback. Kemba, two more.
He saw the spot that he needed to get to.
Embiid misses the shot. Kemba, a rim run with the left hand. All right. Hornets back.
Got to go quickly before the defense can get set.
Bridges. In transition, Kemba to the rim. We've got a three-point game.
Now let's talk about Kemba Walker. That boy was balling out last night. 60 points in an overtime loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. Natalie, tell me what you thought of that game.
I think the key word there is loss. Like, Kemba's been killing it.
Yeah.
We know it. To start of the season, I think he had a 41-point game.
Mm-hmm.
He's an elite scorer. And for a guy his size, it's incredible to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, he's not winning games. So at the end of the day, you got your 60 points, but you didn't win the game.
Well, Kemba has always been underrated. He's only the 6th highest paid player on his own team. And that for me is a problem. Michael Jordan, pay the man. He's playing so well right now. But, I mean, look at the way he's playing right now. Look at the way he's killing the Sixers. He did everything he could. 60 points. And the Sixers are a very good team.
Yeah.
And we know who got that 60-point work. That's Ben Simmons got that work. Markel Fultz got that work. Jimmy Buckets got that work. That's Kemba Walker.
No. Let's Jimmy Buckets actually had the block to bring them back into the game and then take the shot. But we'll get into that. But my thing is, Kemba needs help.
He needs help.
We've talked about this over and over again.
Yeah.
You can drop 60, but if you're losing a game, it doesn't count for anything in my books.
Yeah.
You can drop 40 and lose a game.
But do you lose the game on your own? Because you're making it seem like Kemba Walker at 6'1", 6'2" should be the guy who takes them home.
That's why I started off by saying he needs help. Something has to happen in the front office, or he needs to pull a Jimmy Butler and let them know, yo, I'm done. I'm not happy. I need something to be done.
I like that you mentioned that. I've got mad respect for Kemba Walker. He's always said the right things in the media. You know, they've publicly gone on record trying to trade him since last season, and they couldn't get the value back because he was only earning like 11 million. But he's been doing the right things. He comes every single night. He's playing hard. We got to meet him in 2016. He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing superstar.
Completely nice.
You know, but when we talk about the fact that the front office needs to make some changes, there's this amazing tweet. There's this beautiful tweet by Tommy Beer that just talks about the guys that are getting paid more than Kemba Walker. I mean, it's ridiculous when you look at it, when you think about it. Solomon Hill, Joachim Noah, Ryan Anderson, Carmelo Anthony, Bismack Bimovic, Timothy Mozgov is getting paid more than Kemba Walker. There's some guys on this list I'm surprised are still in the league. Luol Deng, both Plumlees are getting paid more than Kemba Walker.
So I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to have to agree that's a problem.
That's a problem.
If Kemba is getting less than Luol Deng, like that's a huge problem for me, because I mean we've seen his work.
Yeah.
And he's the type of guy who he carries his team on his back.
Yeah.
He values the game. He respects the game, and you can see it in how he plays. The bottom line where this is concerned, in my opinion, get the man some help.
Or get the man to a better place.
Yes, that's it.
You know, he's got to pull a Jimmy Butler. Because I don't think Michael Jordan doesn't have a good track record as an owner or as a team executive in terms of making the right front office moves. This is the same guy that drafted Kwame Brown. You know, and the Charlotte Hornets have been losing games for years.
I
and they've been
hated
losing
that
money.
so much. Like Kwame Brown, really. But let's not digress. Kemba Walker, I agree with you. He does need to get.
He needs to be shipped out because it's at some point. This is what happened to Kevin Garnett, and I hate it when a superstar is toiling in purgatory on a team with a very bad front office. Kevin Garnett gave too many years to the Minnesota franchise. And then he went to Boston and then he won his ring. I'm happy for him. I want to see Kemba Walker go to a good team.
But where would he go?
So last season I was rooting for him to go to the Cavaliers. I mean, can you imagine that 1-2 punch? Kemba and LeBron. You know, he wouldn't have forgotten the score like JR. At the moment, I still think he can go to the Lakers as well. The Lakers point guard spot is a bit tricky.
Nah, guy.
I'm telling you, Kemba Walker is the kind of scorer that LeBron needs. He's cheap. You know, because we've talked about Kemba Walker. I mean, we've talked about LeBron getting a
So
game.
who are you shipping out if you put Kemba on that Lakers team? What
Lonzo
happens
Ball.
to Rondo?
I'm shipping out Lonzo Ball.
So who's starting?
Kemba Walker. Rajon Rondo at this stage in his career is a backup point guard with the experience, you know, and the knowledge to help other point guards.
If we throw Kemba into LA,
Yeah.
do they win a championship?
No, we have the Warriors gone.
Okay,
All right.
just checking.
But you know, Kemba did all this, and like you said, a loss is a loss. Which brings us into our next section, Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Buckets. Get that right. It's Jimmy Buckets. Now, I was totally stoked to see Jimmy Buckets go to the 76ers. And it's unfortunate that, you know, Kemba dropped 60, but Jimmy hits the game winner. I mean, it's mixed feelings. It really is mixed feelings because I was rooting for Kemba. I really wanted him to win that game. But I think what it does for Jimmy is that he's letting everybody know that, listen, I can do this. This is my ish. You know what I'm saying? So I really like that, you know. And we talked about it. He in his interview he says, you know, he blocked Kemba off a drive, and he says, I just didn't want him to drop 70 on me. You know,
He didn't want to be the next Jalen Rose.
He didn't want to be there. But I think he's coming into his own as part of the 76ers, and you can see it. My worry is that is it sustainable? I don't know. But what do you think about Jimmy being part of the Sixers and that game winner?
Well, I think, first of all, I think that's a brilliant move for Jimmy Butler. You know, he wanted to go to a big market. This was probably one of the teams he was looking at. I think it's a great move for Elton Brand as a brand new GM to get Jimmy Butler. You didn't give up any first round picks. You didn't give up Markelle Fultz, who you can now give up in a subsequent trade to get you some shooting. You gave up, you know, Covington, who's a good player but was overpaid, and obviously Dario Saric. Jimmy Butler.
I was really sad about that.
I was sad about that
because I like Dario Saric.
I like Dario Saric, but I like Jimmy Butler more. Jimmy Butler was tied for the lead in fourth quarter scoring in the NBA. This is an area that the Sixers were struggling with. Every fourth quarter they became predictable. Their only offense was coming from Joel Embiid. You know, Ben Simmons doesn't look for his own shot. Markelle Fultz does not have a shot. So it was just a very difficult situation for them, and they brought him in. First game he played in, they played against Orlando, they lost. And that's fine. Jimmy Butler was not trying to do too much. He's filling it out. You're not trying to come there and try to make it all about you. But now we get to a game against the Charlotte Hornets. Jimmy Butler shows them that this is what I was brought for. I'm a guy who can ice games for you guys. I can finish games for you guys.
And that's something they like you
that's
mentioned.
Something they like.
And for me, I think he also brings that character. Because, I mean, the team has a lot of character, but I feel like their character is surrounded by Joel Embiid because he's such a big personality. Now you got two master trolls. Like,
well, I wouldn't call Jimmy a master troll. You've got to understand where Jimmy came from. He was the 15th guy on the Chicago Bulls. He worked his way up. Jimmy Butler is all heart, all hustle. He worked his way up. By his third season, he was now starting. And then he became their all-star. So Jimmy Butler doesn't respect guys who don't take the game seriously, guys who don't work hard. So that's all we get from Jimmy Butler. And I think he's going to get along with Joel Embiid. He's going to get along with Ben Simmons.
And he's going to be all over Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, Fultz. I mean, you've seen the memes. It's looking late for Fultz.
Yes.
And, you know, just to sidetrack for a bit, as much as Fultz is struggling, I find it very odd that everybody's rooting for this kid to fail. There was something good about his game at Washington in college that made him the first pick of the draft. He obviously dealt with a shoulder injury.
But do you not think he's a bust? Like, look at Kwame Brown.
I think it's too early to call, you know, because there's guys that peak too early and there's guys that take time.
Okay.
So you look at guys like De'Aaron Fox last season. Yes. He wasn't too great. This season we're seeing a different version. Buddy Hield, it has taken 3 seasons. Kobe wasn't too great in his rookie season either. It takes time. You look at Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, you look at that. Markelle Fultz.
So you're ultimately saying that we need to give Markelle Fultz some time?
Yes, I think we need to give him time, but I think we need to give him time on a different team.
And in other news, the Houston Rockets do not stay mellow.
Well, actually, the Carmelo Anthony experiment has come to an unfortunate and abrupt ending. And we know that, you know, Melo is a big baller. He's a future Hall of Famer. And these difficulties he's had with the Rockets and the OKC Thunder, they shall come to pass. But maybe they shall come to pass like a kidney stone.
That's a good one. However, I grew up appreciating Carmelo Anthony. In fact, I started wearing the jersey 15 because of Melo. I mean, he was just amazing to watch, and you know, he had an incredible and festive game. But you know, I felt like coming to his defense during this whole episode. But a part of me also wasn't so sure. But Dwayne Wade is clearly a very good friend, because he had to say this about Melo. Trying to make my guy Carmelo Anthony the fall guy, huh? Man, y'all need to stop. This is the easy way out instead of addressing what the real problem is. And that's what we need to discuss, the real problem. The real problem here was trading or getting rid of Trevor Ariza and Luke Mbamute. One of the greatest assets of the Houston Rockets, as we saw last season, was their defensive ability.
Yeah.
They lost that when they lost those guys. And I don't think Melo should take the fall for it.
Melo shouldn't take the fall for it. I blame Daryl Morey for this. I love Daryl Morey. He's my favorite GM in the NBA. And I feel like he should have convinced ownership to get into the luxury tax to retain the same team that came within one hamstring of winning the Western Conference.
And we all know who that hamstring belonged to.
So I feel like they should have at least brought back everybody. Yes, we know what kind of player Carmelo Anthony is. Does he play defense? Has he ever played defense? No. Carmelo Anthony can get buckets. The Houston Rockets missed 27 straight 3-pointers in Game 7. Carmelo Anthony is the kind of player that if he was there, you could have thrown in a different wrinkle. A guy who can isolate, a guy who can hit the mid-range, get into the block a bit. Carmelo Anthony should not have been the focal point of the Houston Rockets offseason acquisitions. He was supposed to come and back up a guy like Ariza.
Yes.
Then there's not such a focus on what he cannot do, but he gives you what he can do. And the man can still play basketball.
And he can, that's the thing. And AI even said it.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy can still ball.
Yeah.
My issue is that I think now this kind of attention around him affects his legacy. I really think it does, because now, I mean, do we even remember how well he plays?
I don't think I'll ever forget how well Melo plays. Melo is one of the best scorers of this era. He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. We forget that Shaq went to a few teams trying to chase a ring at the end of his career. Right now, Iverson is treated with so much respect. But does anybody remember that Iverson was trash at the Memphis Grizzlies and he wasn't too good at the Detroit Pistons?
Good point.
I don't think it's going to affect his legacy. But what legacy does Melo really have? We're going to remember that Melo forced his way out of Denver. We're going to remember that a great thing was happening in New York. There was insanity happening. Instead of buying into that, Melo came in and disrupted everything. And then he forced the organization to trade Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that we're always going to remember. We're going to remember Melo saying, I am not coming off the bench for the Houston Rockets for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
So as much as I love Melo, my issue is that he didn't compromise. And I think had he come off the bench, done like what Dwayne Wade did, had he taken that kind of position, it would have allowed us as fans and allowed him to embrace the time that he's in his game, you know. You know, in
his defense, you know, who are we to tell the legend, the veteran, that his time has come? As far as he's concerned, you know, and as far as you're concerned as a player, I can still play. I can still go out. As far as Melo is concerned, he's a top 10 player in the league in his head. Because he knows what he can do on a good day. We've seen his off-season videos. We've seen the hoodie Melo craze. Melo is coming to empty gyms and he's taking J's. He's not missing anything. And when they've got their little workouts and playing against other NBA players, Melo is stroking that J. But something happens when he steps onto the NBA floor. The game is faster than it's ever been.
It is much faster.
So Melo cannot keep up with the younger guys.
Yes.
But I just think...
Okay, fine. The game is much faster. So what does that say? Because didn't him and LeBron come in during the same sort of season?
Yeah.
LeBron's playing at a pretty fast pace as well.
Apples and oranges. LeBron James is the winner of the genetic lottery. He's a mutant freak. LeBron James is just a different kind of animal. Melo was always more of a skill and finesse player. LeBron acquired skill and finesse as his career progressed. But LeBron was usually... He could take over the game with brute force and athleticism, much in the same way that, you know, Russell Westbrook can, as Zion Williamson can. So Melo is a different kind of player, and his athleticism has declined greatly. Okay, so what's next for Melo? Because I feel like he still deserves to play. That's just the reality of it. And no one, you're right, no one should tell him what he can and cannot do. But where does he go next? So the thing is, his reputation has taken a big hit. He tried to come and play with his friend Chris Paul, and it's not worked out. So Melo can go to two places that will accept him with open arms. That's the Lakers with his boy LeBron, or the Miami Heat with his boy Draymond. I really hope those two things don't happen. Yes, but practically speaking, I think there's two places where Melo could go, and it would help immediately. Just before you even go there,
we saw Kyrie crying out for someone like Melo.
15-year veteran,
I mean,
taking shots
is
at
that
our
an
offense.
option?
That's what I'm saying. The Boston Celtics offense is really not caught up with how talented that team is. Maybe having a guy like Melo sometimes come off the bench, stretch the floor a bit
But
would
will
help
he
him.
come off the bench?
He knows he'll come off the bench. And he's at that stage, if he goes to a contender, he's got to come off the bench.
But the thing is about the Celtics, they play a really fast game.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've watched a couple of games. It's back and forth. It's really quick. And like you just mentioned, Melo is not that kind of guy. He's not running up and down the floor. He's not trying to close out on, screens and hedge and, So coming on a second unit, doesn't that then, for a team like the Celtics, doesn't that then destroy the kind of what they have going? Because even their second unit is pretty quick.
I've seen Brad Stevens, do wonderful things with players who haven't succeeded elsewhere. Look what he did with Isaiah Thomas. 5th in MVP voting, 3rd in scoring, 1st and 4th quarter scoring. That's all Brad Stevens. Yes, Thomas put in the work. But Brad Stevens can sometimes take a guy's career, transform it. If Melo goes to San Antonio, the same thing can happen. I'm sure Greg Popovich would use him very well. If Melo goes to the 76ers, and they're reportedly considering him, I think they could use him. They need some help at the power forward spot. They'll probably get a few rotation minutes. He's surrounded by good defenders. It's much of a similar situation to OKC last year. It didn't work out, but Melo was not terrible in OKC. He wasn't as good as he should have been, but he wasn't terrible.
So it looks like we both agree that it's not Melo's time yet to retire.
It's not his time to retire. No, it's
okay, that's great. Let us know what you think. Should he retire? Should he stay? Where should he go? And to wrap up the show, Tich, why don't you give us the fun fact for the show today?
Well, Richard Rip Hamilton, who won a championship with the Detroit Pistons, got his nickname Rip from his parents because his diapers would always rip as a baby. Which NBA player do you think has the best nickname?
Well, this is it from us. My name is Natalie Pike, and thank you for joining us.
And I'm Tich Mabiza. Thank you for joining us. See you all next week.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you. That was wonderful. Do you have a ride?
Well, I came here in a cab.
Perfect.
Well, could you get me
That's
that?
inspirational.